Part 52. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Ning. Chapter 511. Chapter 511 Ice Cream. Over there, Xiaoling was unaware of the comments of the people around her and looked at the ice cream happily. I want strawberry flavor. The vanilla one over there looks delicious. The matcha latte is so beautiful. The one next to it is chocolate toffee candy. Her eyes sparkled and she wanted everything she saw. Don't blame her, she hasn't had ice cream in more than a year. Pei Xian was very strict when she was pregnant and had a baby. She didn't touch any junk food at all. Now, like a bird out of its cage, everything it sees feels good. Li Lei looked at her fondly and said to the clerk, "Get one of each." Okay, the clerk was also infected by the happy atmosphere between them, and handed over a membership card with a smile. You can get a discount if you accumulate 10 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Xiaoling really leaned into Li Lei's arms to count, her white fingers beating in his palm. 9, what should I add? She frowned in pain. Painful meditation. Add hazelnut flavor. Don't you love hazelnut the most? Li Lei said softly. He had already swiped his card in front of the POS machine and took the 9 ice creams that the clerk put in plastic bags. He tore open one of the wrapping paper and handed it over to her mouth. Dash. She took a bite from his hand. It tasted very good, so she took it. Then let's have hazelnuts, she said to the clerk with a big smile. Add a portion of hazelnuts. Before he finished speaking, suddenly, a little girl behind him screamed, "Yasin Ling." That's Yasin Ling. She was recognized after all. She had been too exposed during this period. Although her appearance was delicate, her frame was slender, so it was not difficult to recognize her. Xiaoling was so frightened that her hands shook and she almost dropped the ice cream. Yasin Ling, you must be Yasin Ling, the little girls became excited. Can you take off your sunglasses for us to see? Oh my god, you're a star. Run. Xiaoling was so frightened that her face turned pale. She grabbed Li Lei's hand and ran out. Li Lei has excellent motor skills and rushed out immediately while protecting her. Behind her, many little girls were chasing after them. It must be Yasin Ling. I just searched on Baidu, and the handsome guy next to her is Li Lei. Li Lei and Yasin Ling, hurry up. The only thing in this world that is crazier than snake syndrome is the groupies. Xiaoling looked back while running over, still biting the ice cream. Li Lei was both angry and funny. How long has it been and I'm still thinking about your hazelnut ice cream. Run. As he spoke, he pulled her to avoid pedestrians and obstacles on the road, making twists and turns, and ran into a nearby green isolation belt, finally getting rid of a bunch of groupies. Xiaoling was panting and sitting on the edge of the flower bed. I'm exhausted. He looked at the ice cream again and cried, it's almost melting. I just know how to eat it. Li Lei used his fingers to scrape the cream on the tip of her nose. Feeling that it was not clean, he took out the napkin given by the clerk from the plastic bag and wiped it for her. In order to eat ice cream, I will risk my life. She smiled stupidly. She didn't want to die, she just liked the feeling of being with him like this, just like an ordinary couple who could go to a shop to buy desserts together and run hand in hand on the streets. No matter how much she ate, well, there's a question mark here, but anyway, he wouldn't blame her if she occasionally eats some junk food. This is the person she has loved her whole life. Her man. Hands intertwined with his, raising your head, the sun is just right and the breeze is calm. She thought of the separation a long time ago, and the song that came from nowhere, go meet the person you want to see, while you still love him, while he still loves you. Now, after traveling through mountains and rivers, experiencing so many hardships, we are finally together. Lilei leaned over secretly and took a bite of the ice cream right where she had bitten it. It's sweet and slightly cool, melting in your mouth and flowing into your heart. He smiled contentedly and raised his head to look at the sunshine with her. How nice it would be to live like this for the rest of his life. Where they were looking, a hot air balloon was rising slowly, and the words Tianlai Music Festival were gorgeous and eye-catching. The music festival is about to begin, Lilei said. Well, it's the day after tomorrow. Xiaoling ate ice cream and swayed her little feet. Can you accompany me? She attended various events and always liked to have her loved ones accompany her. In her previous life, she was Pei Zion, but Pei Zion often busy in meetings, always saying no, but in this life it is Lilei, he will say to her affectionately. Good. They have been separated for too long, and they feel that no matter how tired they are of being together, they can't get enough. They wish they could grow old together in a blink of an eye, or for eternity. The opening day of the music festival. As expected, Lilei drove her there. The first day was the opening show. Bai Murong and several heavyweight singers performed passionately on the stage. There were endless exciting scenes, which caused the fans to scream louder and louder. Xiaoling wore sunglasses that covered most of her face, a pair of washed white jeans, and a black hoodie. She held Lilei's hand and watched the show in the crowd. This time, Lilei followed suit and imitated Xiaoling, choosing ordinary jeans and a black hoodie. He finally used the hood to cover most of his overly handsome face. The two of them stood together, looking like an ordinary couple. Why haven't I seen Xiaoyu? Lilei attended the music festival for the first time and didn't understand much. Xiaoling snorted softly, she's not good enough. Those who can open the show are all A-list celebrities, and Xiaoyu is still a bit green. What about you? You're not going either. Li Xiaoli, I was looking for death. Xiaoling glared at him fiercely, became unhappy, and threw away her hand. Classmate Li Xiaoli, I took him back with a playful smile. I will stand at the closing ceremony. Xiaoling looked at the high stage and said softly. The opening show every year is an exclusive performance for the top superstars, while the closing ceremony is even more valuable. It is the place of glory for the winners of the music festival, the singers and bands with the most votes, etc. It is entirely based on strength. Xiaoling is very confident in her own strength. We'll see. Lilei also had blind confidence in his girlfriend. At the end of the show, he held her hand, used his height advantage to clear a path, and took her around the neighborhood. The entire music festival venue has more than 10 stages, large and small, divided into folk, punk, pop and other directions. There is a luxurious arena in the center. The two stages face each other, and they are still empty. There is a sign next to it with the rules of the arena and the list of registered contestants written on it. Xiaoyu is clearly visible. Xiaoling had known for a long time that she was going to participate. When she saw the list, she couldn't help but shake her head and sigh. She can't sing live at all, she doesn't have enough energy, and she can't keep up with the physical strength, let alone a high-intensity activity like fighting in the ring. It's really not possible. I know what I think. That's right, isn't it convenient for you to defeat her? Lilei smiled. End of this chapter. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 512. Chapter 512. The remaining lotus listens to the rain. Xiaoling did not smile. She always felt that there was something fishy about this matter, so the next day, when the arena competition started, she invited Lilei to observe. The first challenger of the arena competition is randomly selected by the system. The selected singer is named Vivian, who has recently become popular. In fact, the level difference between the singers who signed up for this event is not too big. Those who are not strong are afraid of being embarrassed and humiliating themselves if they lose, while those who are too strong are afraid that if they win, they will be said to be weak and lose. If you don't, it will be even worse, so I won't come to participate. Most of the people who come to participate are newly minted singers who are eager to become famous, or singers who have been around for a long time but are not popular yet and want to increase their popularity. This Vivian is not weak in strength, and is considered to be quite capable among the newly rising generation. Xiaoling was protected by Li Lei and stood in the crowd. She heard fans saying in her ears, "Now those participating singers are in such a miserable state. They started from such a high starting point. Vivian Ye won the best award in the Singapore singer competition, the New Kings." "That's right," someone else said, "I'm afraid we can only hope to knock her off in a will battle. The first one to challenge is definitely a stepping stone for others. I don't know who could be so stupid and be the first to come up. Who is stupid? No one will enter, and then the system will randomly select a challenger." Some fans who have participated in several music festivals analyzed it, while others agreed and nodded. Xiaoling thinks so too. The host, wearing a black lace semi-transparent outfit, asked on stage, "Is there anyone who wants to challenge? If not, the system will automatically start." "Ah, wait, surprisingly, we have a challenger. Who dares to challenge our best newcomer?" Everyone's eyes followed the host. Turns out to be Xiaoyu, fans exclaimed. "Is she crazy? Don't you know Vivian is so popular? Why is our Xiao so crazy?" Some die-hard fans of Xiaoyu retorted, "She is so powerful. No one else dares to challenge Vivian. Only our Xiao is capable and is not afraid of her." "That's right, who is the best new artist in Singapore? He was tortured to pieces by our family Xiaoyu." "That's right." Fans cheered Xiaoyu one after another, and even the crowd watching the excitement started to make noises in fear of causing chaos in the world. Xiaoyu walked onto the stage with a smile on her face amidst the noise, and lightly opened her red lips. "Vivian, please accept my challenge." Her voice was soft and calm, like a noble princess. "Xiaoyu, Xiaoyu, Xiaoyu. Vivian, Vivian, Vivian." The cheers of fans on both sides were deafening. Even Li Lei was a little unsure and touched Xiaoling's shoulder lightly. "Who do you think will win?" He was born with some tone deafness, so he was lucky to be the boss of the entertainment company. At this time, a little I didn't feel embarrassed, so I humbly asked classmate Xia Xiaoling for advice. Classmate Xia Xiaoling rarely showed her superiority in IQ. Logically speaking, Vivian's chances of winning are much greater. Her eyes lingered on the big screen behind the stage, where Vivian's life was scrolling. She is a folk singer who has loved singing since she was a child. When she was in school, she often held concerts on the playground during recess, and many classmates would come out of the teaching building to listen. Her debut experience was also based on her success on the stage through folk auditions. "Singers like her," Xiaoling commented, "singing skills may not be as good as those of professional contestants from training camps, and may even appear rough. However, her stage performance must be good, that is to say, she has a very good stage. As long as you stand on the stage and sing, your dominance will be even better than usual." Li Lei listened carefully and kept nodding. Xiaoling continued, "As for Xiaoyu, it's just the opposite. Xiaoyu's singing is guided by experts and even synthesized in the later stage of the recording studio. She is born with a weak body and does not have much stage experience. For her, your performance on the stage will not be as good as usual. One is strong and the other is weak, one is ebbing and the other is ebbing, so I think Vivian has a good chance of winning." "Then Vivian must have won." Li Lei smiled. How could his Xiaoling's judgment be wrong? Unexpectedly, Xiaoling shook her head. "This is what's weird about me. Logically speaking, Xiaoyu should also know her own strengths and weaknesses very well, so why would she choose to confront Vivian head-on? If she didn't have to win, he should not be so reckless. You know, losing the first game is very embarrassing." Li Lei also didn't understand. "What you said makes sense, what can she rely on?" In return, Xiaoling gave her a big eye roll. At this moment, she felt a little regretful. What kind of boyfriend should she bring to the music festival? She should bring Wei Shaiyan or Feng Kun. Only when several people have comments can they be close friends and lively. She glanced at a certain boss sadly, feeling that she was playing the piano to an ox. A certain boss hugged her unconsciously, looking at the stage with his eyes, waiting for the situation to develop. Vivian sang one of her famous songs first. When the song ended, the audience burst into applause. As Xiaoling commented before, although her singing skills were somewhat lacking, her stage dominance was very good and her emotions were extremely contagious. Without even realizing it, everyone was mesmerized and immersed in her singing. Xiaoling believes that this is difficult for Xiaoyu to do. The host was also captivated by Vivian's singing and asked Xiaoyu, after listening to such a beautiful song, do you feel any pressure? Pressure? Xiao smiled very beautifully, of course there is pressure. Miss Vivian sings very well, but I believe that my singing is not bad, so I won't lose. Off the stage, the crowd became restless again, expecting Xiaoyu to give everyone a wonderful performance. The sound of music spread slowly, like water flowing. Is a very touching song, and it is also one of Xiaoyu's popular songs Remnant Lotus Listening to the Rain. In the early summer of that year, there was a silent sadness. The flying fireflies and flying flowers of that year reflected your picturesque features. You asked me where is the end of the world, riding a horse and wielding a sword, isn't that right? There are still lotuses and silk rain at the end of the world, which is like a painting. She is very good at this kind of light and melancholy music style, which is particularly suitable for her tender and fragile temperament. With the plaintive singing, it is like a beautiful picture of the Jiangnan water town is displayed in front of everyone, making people unable to fall into it. Get out. Xiaoling felt that she was about to refresh her evaluation. Obviously, Xiaoyu, who was standing on the stage at this moment, was not weak in dominance at all. Although there was no raging passion, her singing voice that penetrated people's hearts bit by bit showed her skills. You should look at each other with admiration after seeing each other for 3 days. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 513. Chapter 513. This is not scientific. Xia Yu's song ends. At the curtain call, there was thunderous applause. It's no wonder that she had the confidence to challenge Vivian. It turned out that the singing voice she sang on the spot was so beautiful. On the stage, the soft and frail Xiaoyu is picturesque in white clothes, just like the Jiangnan beauty coming out of her singing, with infinite charm and elegance. The results of the on-site fan voting came out soon, and Xiaoyu won. Although Vivian failed, she was worthy of being an excellent battlefield veteran in Typhoon. She just looked at Xiaoyu and smiled, I didn't expect that I failed in the first round. The people from the Emperor are really good. Xiaoyu also said very politely, thank you. The host asked Vivian how she was feeling now. Vivian said with some regret, my sister is so powerful. I don't know how my sister is. I only regret that I was born late and was not born in the same era as the Queen Xiaoling. Otherwise, I really want to experience the Queen's style for yourself. The reserved elegance on Xiaoyu's face was a bit unbearable. The host was very amused. Yes, a person like Queen Xiaoling may not be born in 100 or 200 years, but there is no need to regret it. Vivian, you and Xiaoyu are already great. Vivian has a free and easy temperament. She thanked the host for comforting her and waved to everyone before leaving. Xiaoyu, on the other hand, had a lot of thoughts in her heart. The host put her in the same position as Vivian, but put her sister at an unreachable level. This made her very unwilling. Off the stage. Xiaoling was a little tired from standing, and her entire weight was resting on Li Lei beside her. Classmate Li Xiaoli had no complaints or regrets, and happily wrapped his arms around her waist, acting as her human pillow. Xiaoling's small white hands pulled at the front of his clothes and made a comfortable position. Let's see how she performs in the second song. When the host mentioned her sister just now, she didn't look very good. She probably will. It affects your mood. To put it bluntly, the arena competition is a round-the-clock battle. If Xiaoyu enters the competition so early, a little bit of poor condition will be infinitely magnified in the long exhaustion. Li Lei was still clueless. Well, you're right. Liu, classmate Xiaoling felt that she was beginning to miss Wei and Feng Kun again. The one who challenged Xiaoyu was a veteran in the music industry, the male singer Shi Nan. He has always been an evergreen figure in the music industry and has always been sincere. Although he has never become famous, he has never been in decline either. At this time, he smiled at Xiaoyu. Little sister, don't cry if you lose. I don't know who is crying. This time it was the challenger who sang first. Xiaoyu took advantage of the break in his singing to adjust his condition. When he came out again, he changed to another song, which was still a very pleasant song, Farewell Sheng. The crowds on and off the stage were once again immersed in her touching singing voice. At the end of the song, Xiaoyu still won. It sounds so good. Xiaoyu is so great. Many fans in the crowd were moved and said, she is indeed the sister of Queen Xiaoling. I thought the audio was good before, but I didn't expect that the live version sounds great now. That's right, she's so pretty, not to mention her singing is so good, even because of her looks, a lot of people would vote for her. This is indeed where Xiaoyu takes advantage. Her appearance can be said to be the best among all the singers who have appeared. Generally speaking, people with nice voices may not necessarily have good looks. However, the Xia sisters are lucky enough to excel in both. Nowadays, the Queen Xiaoling has passed away. Although her younger sister Xiaoyu's appearance is not as good as her older sisters, she is still considered a leader in the entertainment industry with so many beauties. There will be some people who vote for Xiaoyu because of her looks, Xiaoling murmured, leaning her little head on Li Lei's chest, but something's not right, her lip singing was too perfect, a little bit there are no flaws at all, even if I thought. She originally wanted to say that it was because of her back then, but considering that Li Lei was by her side, she changed her mind abruptly. Even if I was singing with Bai Murong on the stage, I couldn't do it. So perfect. Li Lei didn't hear any flaws. Anyway, she said it was what she said. He continued to turn on the brainless mode, adhering to the attitude of what the future wife says is right, everything the wife says is right, and continued to nod like garlic. Xia Xiaoling's classmate burst into tears and no longer wanted to chat with him. The third scene. This time, Xiaoling didn't even bother to predict, she just took out her phone and recorded the song. Xiaoyu still wins. Xiaoling sent the recorded song to Wei Shaiyan and attached a message, what do you think? Xiaoyu, a few minutes later, Wei Shaiyan replied, this is not scientific. Xiaoling laughed now. Wei Shaiyan understood her. It was much easier and more pleasant than communicating with the boss. While she changed into a more comfortable position in the arms of a certain boss, she complained about a certain boss without any psychological barriers. She clicked on her phone with her little paws, and also sent a video to Feng Kun. P.S. Have you given special training to Xiaoyu? Of course Feng Kun could not have given Xiaoyu special training. His message was also responded quickly, at the Tianlai Music Festival, I am also here. This is not like Xiaoyu's level. It is still the musician who understands the musician best. Hearing that he was at the scene, Xiaoling was pleasantly surprised. She tugged on the sleeve of a certain boss and stood on tiptoes to look around for someone. However, she was too short and couldn't see anything after dancing for a long time. Master Boss asked, what are you doing? Fang Kan is here too, said Xia Xiaoling, who was still looking around. Let's go meet him. Li Lei was originally not happy when he heard that he was from the emperor, but because Fang Kan helped deliver meals during Xiaoling's pregnancy, he was not put into the hostile camp. How can you find anyone like this? You're so stupid, Li Lei scolded her. Ask where he is and we'll find a marker to meet him. Xiaoling thought so and made an appointment with Fang Kan under a sculpture outside the ring. Li Lei protected her from the encirclement and squeezed through. Fang Kan was wearing a grey casual suit, with his hands somewhat leisurely in his pockets, and he was waiting for someone very comfortably. Although he is a top producer with a great reputation in the industry, he is not a star, and his appearance is not as stunningly handsome as Li Lei, Wei Shaiyan, and others, so it is very convenient to go out and there is no need to disguise himself. He silently watched the couple wearing hoodies and covering their heads tightly running towards them, feeling sympathy for them in his heart. Fang Kan, as she got closer, Xiaoling broke away from the boss's hand, stepped forward and gave Fang Kan a big hug. Now that she has left the emperor and returned to Tianyi, she is like a tired bird returning to the forest. Her whole person is bright and lively, and she has regained her true nature in front of her old friends. Fang Kan returned her hug lovingly, just like a big brother. Looking up, through her shoulder, she saw a certain boss's eyes were so cold that he wanted to kill someone. End of this chapter. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 514. Chapter 514, Expose her severely. Fang Kan felt extremely innocent. He let go of Xiaoling very wisely, and saw a certain boss with a sullen face, holding Xia Xiaoling's child by the back of her neck, and took her away from his arms. Watch out for the impact, he said harshly at her. Xia Xiaoling's child felt a little aggrieved. We haven't seen each other for a long time. You do this to everyone you haven't seen for a long time. This girl, does she know what the difference between men and women is? He is different, he is. Xiaoling wanted to say something more, but her voice became softer and softer under the boss's cannibalistic gaze. Finally, she admitted her mistake aggrievedly. I won't hug him anymore. You can't hug anyone except me. The boss still had a sullen face. Okay, classmate. Xia Xiaoling decided that if a good man doesn't suffer the immediate consequences, he won't hug her. Then you are not allowed to hug other girls. When have I ever hugged another girl? The boss said in a black line. Xia Xiaoling's classmate smiled brightly. This time, she returned to the boss's arms and said, I knew you were the best. Fang Kan couldn't bear to look at her. Showing affection would kill her quickly. Can you two stop abusing the dog? Master Boss held his little girlfriend in his arms as a protector, and still glanced back and forth at Fang Kan with unkind eyes. Fang Kan sighed and said, she is so stupid, I won't rob her from you. Li Lei. Xiaoling's little head popped up from Li Lei's arms. Fang Kan, you came here alone? How are you lately? It was good at first, but now it's not good to be stared at by your man like this. Fang Kan silently complained in his heart, but on the surface he said very kindly, not bad, the Emperor's operation has returned to normal, and I have also begun to prepare a new single. By the way, Li Lei, he turned his head, thank you for showing mercy. It is not a secret in the business world that Li Lei used money to withdraw his troops at the moment when he was about to defeat the Emperor. Everyone knew that he had spared the Emperor's life. To be honest, this was a higher attitude and more humiliating than directly suppressing the Emperor to bankruptcy. However, Pei Xian had to endure such humiliation. He had such a big family behind him and he could not be quick and vigorous. He would rather be broken into pieces than destroyed. All he could do was lower his head and endure the humiliation, dragging the Emperor up from the mud step by step. Fortunately, although his vitality was injured, he recovered quickly. The impact on Fang Kan has been basically eliminated. Li Lei was not proud when he heard what he said. it's not my fault, it's thanks to someone's help. Feng Kan is a little curious about who it is. But it was not convenient to ask, so I ignored it with a wink. But he knew something clearly in his heart. No wonder Tianyi could crush the emperor with overwhelming power. Sure enough, he did not rely on his own strength. What's rare is that Li Lei doesn't take any credit. Such a man can relax his figure, see himself clearly, and probably has a very good mentality. Handing Xiaoling over to him, Feng Kan felt relieved. Xiaoling is too naive and arrogant. If she were not placed in the hands of a gentle and powerful person, she would probably have suffered the same love tragedy as in her previous life. Now it seems that Li Lei is a good match. Feng Kan looked at Li Lei with a kinder look, treat Xiaoling well. Of course I will, Li Lei said, hugging the person in his arms tighter. Not far away, another wave of overwhelming cheers came from the crowd below the ring, mixed with the host's surprised voice, 4 consecutive wins, Xiaoyu is currently 4 consecutive wins, is there any challenger, who else? Attracted many people passing by to stop and take a look. Xiaoling then remembered why she came to Feng Kan and asked him, how did Xiaoyu become so good? Her voice can't bear the time and intensity of singing. Can she continue to win? Feng Kan had obviously figured out this problem. He took out a portable earphone and handed it to Xiaoling, come and listen. Xiaoling took it. From the earphones, a melodious and beautiful melody came, which was Xiaoyu's song Remnant Lotus Listening to the Rain. The remaining lotuses and early summer of that year, the silent sadness. The flying fireflies and flying flowers of that year reflected your picturesque features. Isn't this the song she sang today? Why are you listening to this for me? As soon as she finished speaking, Xiaoling suddenly realized something, her expression changed, and she asked Feng Kan, isn't this the live version? The officially released recorded version, Feng Kan said. Xiaoling hurriedly played the third song she recorded today, and then called up Xiaoyu's officially released recorded version. She listened to both versions carefully, and her expression became even worse. Exactly the same. She said, Xiaoyu's recorded version is exactly the same as the live version. Every song is exactly the same, Feng Kan said. Xiaoling, can you do it? Xiaoling shook her head, how is that possible? Not to mention there is such a big gap between the scene and the recording studio. Even if it is recorded in the recording studio, the previous time and the next time will be more or less different due to reasons such as mood, voice, etc. Subtle differences. Humans are not machines, how can they sing the same song twice? It seems that you understand it too. Yes, Xiaoling already understood. No wonder Xiaoyu's live singing was so perfect. It turned out that it was not her singing live at all. Xiaoyu recorded the version in advance in the studio and played it directly on the spot. To put it bluntly, it's lip syncing. In this way, issues such as status, voice, physical strength, etc. can be perfectly explained. It's no wonder that Xiaoyu dares to enter the ring, because she doesn't need to expend any effort at all. Just lip sync. I want to expose her, Xiaoling said. How to expose it? Are you going to accuse her of lip syncing? Li Xiaoli, a classmate in love, had a sharp decline in his IQ. When Xiaoling and Feng Kan were discussing music just now, he couldn't get a word in for a long time. He couldn't wait to express himself now, I'll find someone to help you. Too simple and rude, Xiaoling said, be good and don't cause trouble. He added, of course I want to expose her severely. She came to the music festival just to target Xiaoyu severely, not to mention that Xiaoyu had such a big handle at this time. However, even if it is exposed, someone must believe it. She cannot be allowed to cover it up. Feng Kan was convinced. On the other hand, Li Lei looked at him deeply, with this exposure, the emperor's reputation will be ruined. With great difficulty, Pei Xian recovered a little bit of his energy. Feng Kan, you are also a member of the emperor, Why are you helping Xiaoling? If you want to work in a profession, you must have professional ethics, Feng Kun said calmly. Whether the singing is beautiful or unpleasant, these are normal, but lip syncing, he paused and looked directly into Li Lei's eyes. The bottom line of this industry has been touched, and every musician has the responsibility to maintain the music environment. End of this chapter. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 515. Chapter 515 18 consecutive wins. Li Lei looked at him and smiled lazily. No wonder Xiaoling is close to you. Xiaoling nodded vigorously beside her, with a proud look on her face. Of course, my friends are all the best. Feng Kun was silent, wanting to remind her that back then she regarded Chu Chen as a close and confidant friend. Changing the subject, how are you going to expose Xiaoyu? Xiaoling looked at the arena not far away. The fifth round of the arena competition had begun. Xiaoyu's singing voice is soft and flawless, coupled with her charming dress and grace, she has won the hearts of countless fans in the audience. Nowadays, fans are no longer objective. Many people want to see how many rounds Xiaoyu can win again. When the difference between the singing voices of the two sides in the ring is not big, they are more willing to support Xiaoyu and vote for Xiaoyu. As long as Xiaoyu maintains, if this level continues, defeat becomes less and less likely. Will Xiaoyu maintain this level? That's for sure. The recorded records are so stable, how could she perform abnormally? Xiaoling narrowed her eyes slightly and spoke slowly, let her sing. I will be the last one to appear. She wanted Xiaoyu to be praised to the highest level. The higher she was, the more painful it would be when she fell down. She will give Xiaoyu a fatal blow at the last moment. Li Lei smiled and nodded. My Xiaoling is the best. The finale, he didn't know much about music, but he knew how to suppress an enemy. When Xiaoling said it, he understood her strategy. Feng Kun also understood. It's so cruel. He wasn't sure what happened during these days. Why did Xiaoling suddenly become so hostile to Xiaoyu? In the past, even if the two of them had a bad fight, Xiaoling had never taken the initiative to snipe. Since Li Lei was nearby, he didn't ask. The three of them went to a coffee shop not far away to rest and looked at the arena diagonally across from them. It's overwhelming. The singers rose up one by one and fell down one by one. Only Xiaoyu remained standing, with a slight sweat on her delicate little face. She took a break while the singer who came on stage to challenge her sang, and was in excellent condition to fight again. Xiaoyu, Xiaoyu, Xiaoyu. Under the ring, crazy fans cheered, and it became Xiaoyu's special show. There will be big news tomorrow. Feng Kun saw countless reporters on the periphery, aiming their guns and cannons at the ring. I will be the one making the big news. Xiaoling drank the last glass of juice and pulled Li Lei backstage. Before leaving, she did not forget to smile and wave to Feng Kun, just enjoy my performance. Feng Kun also laughed. Perhaps only such a simple girl can achieve the ultimate in music. Normally, she may be called naive or stupid, but when it comes to music, she seems to be a different person. In this field, she dominates everything. Queen. Even when he takes the stage to challenge an opponent who has won more than 10 consecutive victories, there is no psychological pressure. Xiaoling changed her outfit backstage, taking off her low-key and unobtrusive black hoodie and putting on a gorgeous stage outfit embellished with beads. The close-fitting material outlined her perfect figure, even if she had just given birth to a baby. In less than half a year, her body shape had recovered extremely well, and not a trace of fat was visible. In the background, singers greeted her one after another. Yesin Ling, you have also signed up to participate in the group competition, right? Why, you still haven't gone up to challenge Xiaoyu? You know, the further back, the greater the risk, and the people in front losing can be said to be a little bit behind Xiaoyu's level, and it was a disappointing defeat. However, as time goes by, Xiaoyu's state becomes more and more fatigued, and the opponents she defeats will receive greater boos and doubts. Hence, many participating singers are anxious to appear at the front. Someone said, "Yasing Ling, you don't want to wait for everyone to defeat Xiaoyu in a will battle, and then you come on stage to clean up the mess and defeat her in one fell swoop, right?" "Don't be stupid," another person said, "I didn't see Xiaoyu. The more we fight, the more courage we get." Many people who had this idea have given up. Everyone faced a strong enemy like Xiaoyu together, sympathized with each other, and constantly gave her advice. Xiaoling carefully inserted a hair accessory on her head and said with a smile, "Well, someone has to be the last one to appear, so I will sacrifice it." Everyone heard that she was joking and shook their heads secretly. This girl was very ambitious and really wanted to defeat Xiaoyu in the last round. However, she hasn't appeared in the music scene for a year, so how can she compare to Xiaoyu, who is gaining momentum? When she loses, she will learn the lesson. Therefore, everyone stopped trying to persuade me. During the arena match, the crowd's screams were already reaching the sky, and everyone's eyes were so excited that they wanted to see if Xiaoyu could hold on from the first to the last game and create a miracle. Big news, definitely big news, unprecedented since the Tianlai Music Festival was held. Reporters were also very excited. The host's excited voice, "The last game. There is still one last game. Our Xiaoyu will complete the record of 18 consecutive victories. Can she hold on to the last level and become the final winner? Come on Xiaoyu," the fans in the audience cheered. "Xiaoyu is great, Xiaoyu is the best," many people went crazy. In the midst of the frenzy, Xiaoyu smiled gracefully and charmingly, making her look even more extraordinary. The host continued, "Let's see who the last challenger is, Yasing Ling." It's actually Yasing Ling. Xing Ling, who has not appeared in the music scene for nearly a year, this is her first time on stage since her comeback. The crowd in the audience was silent for a moment, and then burst into even louder cheers. This arena match is worth the price of admission. Not only can you see Xiaoyu win 18 consecutive games, but you can also see the legendary Yasing Ling come back. She has been a young lady of a wealthy family for a year, and now she returns to the stage. Is her singing voice still moving? Everyone was extremely curious. Xiaoyu was slightly shocked. Why is Yasing Ling here? The list she got for the group competition was made long ago. Yasing Ling was not included in the list. Yasing Ling made a temporary decision to participate in the music festival and signed up for the group competition. The list in Xiaoyu's hand was not updated. She was a little flustered, but quickly calmed down. "I knew that my head-to-head singing was not as good as that of the other person, but I used the studio recording version to lip-sync, while the other person had not been on stage for a year, so he might be unfamiliar with it." Xiaoyu's expression turned slightly gloomy, and she looked at Xiaoling with a malicious smile on her lips. "Yeah, you just passed away. You didn't take much time to rest and adjust your mood, but you put away your sadness so quickly. Can you sing to everyone with a smile?" End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 516. Chapter 516, Butterflies Cannot Fly Across the Sea. Xiaoyu deliberately used words to suppress Xiaoling, trying to destroy her mentality. Although Xiaoling already looked down upon Pei Xian, she still couldn't help but feel a sharp pain in her heart when she mentioned the dead baby. She looked at Xiaoyu. The vicious woman in front of her was the murderer of her child, but she was smiling charmingly, with a faint sneer in the corners of her eyes and eyebrows. She swore that everything Xiaoyu valued would be lost one by one. Today's arena match is just the beginning. She raised the microphone and said to Xiaoyu, "My child died in an unusual way. What I can do for him is to ask the police to investigate the cause of death. Now, the police have intervened in the investigation and will definitely bring the real culprit to justice. Sadness is not written on his face. If he is alive in heaven, he will not want his mother to dwell on this matter and become depressed. I returned to the music scene just to let the little baby in heaven see that his mother is very powerful. Great. His words made many people in the audience moved and sighed. Originally, after listening to Xia Yu's words, they were somewhat prejudiced against Xia Ling. They felt that her child had only died 2 months ago, and it was too callous for her to stand on the ring like nothing happened. But now, after hearing that she has done her best to investigate the cause of her child's death, many people understand that grief and cherishment must be expressed through actions, and do not need to be displayed on her face every day to gain sympathy. But for those who are alive, life will go on. Many people admire her strength. There was sporadic applause. There are also fans' voices, "Yes, Xing Ling, come on, we support you." Xia Ling bowed her head slightly and greeted everyone. She is so clear and moving, even her sadness contains a kind of power and an indescribable beauty. Even the reporters were moved and took pictures of her one after another. They even thought of the title. After Ye Xingling's comeback, she mourned her deceased son with a song, which is the highest gift for a musician. Xia Yu looked at the bustle in the audience and felt angry. She originally wanted everyone to think that Xia Ling was ruthless, but she didn't expect that Xia Ling would use this opportunity to arouse the sympathy and understanding of the crowd. The beauty of tragedy is the easiest to sublimate. Some people have been so moved that they wipe their tears with tissues. So, on this stage today, the winner will definitely be me. Xia Ling looked at Xia Yu in front of her, as if she wanted to see into the depths of her soul, and made a pun, "The baby is watching in the sky." Off the stage. Li Lei was still wearing a black hoodie, with his hands in his pockets, standing outside the crowd and looking up at the stage. At some point, there was a man beside him. If Xia Ling saw it, she would definitely recognize that man as the researcher who used the sonic lie detector to analyze Xia Yu's voice for her not long ago. This woman. The researcher looked at Xia Yu on the stage, is too calm. She doesn't look like she is committing murder for the first time. Generally speaking, the psychology of first-time offenders will be more fragile, and they will feel guilty and uneasy, but none of this can be seen in Xia Yu. Look at her smile, she even enjoys it and enjoys Miss Yes pain. Li Lei's expression was cold. He originally had no impression of Xia Yu, but at this moment, when he heard her opening Xia Ling's wounds like this, with a seemingly gentle but happy smile on her face, he couldn't help but feel full of disgust towards her. He will not let this woman end well. The police asked her to record a statement, and there were no flaws, Li Lei said. At the police station, Xia Yu admitted that she bought the invitation letter with money, not from Pei Xian. She also admitted that she sneaked into the villa, not that Pei Xian invited her. But she explained that this move was entirely motivated by curiosity and vanity and had nothing to do with murdering the child. The police found no further clues and could not confirm that she was the murderer. The researcher next to Li Lei said, "There are two possibilities. One is that we all have wronged her, and the second possibility is that she is a habitual criminal." A habitual criminal, even Li Lei, who is used to seeing all kinds of things in the world, also a little surprised. "Yes, only habitual criminals can be so calm and composed," the researcher said. "I suggest you investigate Xia Yu's criminal history, or check if there are any unsolved mysteries around her." Li Lei's eyes became a little dark and he nodded slowly. On the stage. The host smiled and asked Xia Ling, "According to the old rules, our challenger will sing first. So Xing Ling, are you ready? What kind of music will you bring to us today?" Xia Ling said, "A new song, Butterflies Can't Fly Across the Sea." The host was surprised. "Xing Ling, you mean you brought us your new song today? Wow, it's so touching. You haven't released a new song for more than a year, right?" When you came up today, you actually said it's a new song. It's such a surprise, and everyone in the audience is happy. Yasin Ling. Yasin Ling. Yasin Ling, the fans' cheers reached the sky. At this time, many people have forgotten whether Xiaoyu will continue her winning streak, and their minds are focused on the new song that Xiaoling is about to sing. They are curious, what will her new song be like this time? So far, every song she has released is very popular and very beautiful. This song Butterflies Can't Fly Across the Sea is very exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about this song? The host lived up to expectations and asked Xiaoling about its origin, creative background, and so on. Xiaoling's voice was clear and shallow. This song is a farewell to the past. It is also something that I have to tell someone that I have no time to say. Tell who? The host's eyes lit up, and her intuition told her that there was gossip in this. Xiaoling did not answer, but said, just listen. The prelude sounded slowly, empty, distant, and with a somewhat sad melody. Li lay on the edge of the crowd, his brows expressionless, changed his posture to make himself stand more stable. During the day, Xiaoling said that she wanted overwhelming victory and that the songs she had released so far were not suitable. Neither Glass Fingertips nor Star Wings were good enough to show off her skills, although they were elegant and beautiful. But it is more suitable for calming down and savoring it slowly while drinking coffee, and does not have enough stage incitement. At that time, Fang Kun nodded in agreement. Even in front of Li Lei, the big boss of Tianyi, he said something that deserves a beating. A Wei is too arrogant, which is why he has never been popular with me for so many years. Li Lei gritted his teeth. However, as a scumbag in music, he didn't know how to refute. Xiaoling said, this time on stage, I will use a new song. She sent a copy of the song to Fang Kun via her mobile phone. Please help me mix it. Time is a bit tight, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but it must have enough appeal and stage excitement. Fang Kun smiled slightly. He was his old partner for 10 years. With just one word and one look, he understood what she wanted. He took over the lyrics and music, and started composing it with the simple conditions of a mobile phone and headphones. End of this chapter. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weiniang. Chapter 517. Chapter 517. I hope you are happy. Hence the song Butterflies Can't Fly Across the Sea. Forget about half a lifetime, I can't see you as far as the eye can see. You can't get out of the abyss of dreams after walking through the fireworks of this world. The charming and gorgeous style, if a prosperous age suddenly blooms, it is vast and prosperous, but also extremely sad. Xiaoling raised her head slightly, her voice was low and hoarse, and every word contained the meaning of tears. She knew that there would be a man watching in front of the camera. Even if you didn't watch the live broadcast today, you will definitely collect the video soon and stare at her face inch by inch. She understands Pei Zion, and if he still misses her, he will not miss any scenes of her. If he has forgotten it, then it doesn't matter whether he sees the song or not. She sang loudly, what I once thought about in my heart has become a fleeting thing now. No promises, no worries, no looking back, we all go our separate ways, and in the blink of an eye, it's 1,000 years. I left in a hurry that day and didn't even say hello to him. She wanted to tell him through singing that the love-hate entanglement was a thing of the past and that she would no longer love him. She also hoped that he would be relieved, forget about her, and live his own life well. He deserves better. Just like a butterfly cannot fly across the sea, it cannot fly across the sea. Happiness is at your feet, in your hands, not on the other side of the sea. No promises, no worries, no looking back. She closed her eyes slightly, and the scenes of the past slowly flowed in her heart, and then gradually disappeared. She said silently to the void, Pei Zion, I hope you forget me and find your own happiness. If there is happiness, Please hold on to your happiness and forget about the past. The last line of lyrics falls. The gorgeous and magical melody fades away like the ebbing tide. Off the stage, the originally quiet crowd burst into loud cheers, and shouts of Yes Ling, resounded throughout the sky. Many people still had tears in their eyes. This song was sung by her from the bottom of her heart, with Feng Kun's best virtuosic variations. The powerful appeal swept the audience and moved everyone who heard it. Even the host's eyes were slightly moist, and he didn't know why. That's great, the host said. Yes Ling, you sang so well. Xiaoling stands on the stage. When she is not singing, she looks quiet and delicate, like a bird perching quietly. She is not eye-catching, but people can't help but feel good about her. I haven't heard such a touching song for a long time, really, the host said. Did you compose the song yourself? Yes, Xiaoling said. I heard you say before that you have something you want to tell someone that you have no time to say. The song sounds like a farewell. Can you tell us who you are saying goodbye to? Xiaoling just smiled slightly, a little sadly. He knows. Paused. I hope he is happy. Is it Pei Ziyan? Someone screamed in the audience. The matter of her leaving Pei Ziyan's side was so big that everyone knew about it. This kind of secret of a wealthy family can always arouse people's infinite curiosity. There are rumors that they are divorced. In fact, Li Lei had already completed the procedures for her and determined that the marriage was invalid. She was not divorced, but single. However, it was not convenient for her to talk about the annulment of the marriage to the outside world. Let alone the mistakes made by the internal staff of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Just talk about the consequences of the announcement of this matter. Countless people would speculate on why she was rejected by Pei Ziyan in the first place. Forced marriage, what's the secret behind it? This alone is annoying. The relationship with Pei Ziyan is a thing of the past. Let time bury everything. She doesn't want to be found out again. So, Xiaoling did not answer the question, but turned to Xiaoyu and said, "It's your turn." Xiaoling still had a faint smile on her face, and she couldn't help but feel weak. However, she could no longer maintain this superficial elegance. Xiaoling's song Butterflies Can't Fly Across the Sea was so beautiful that Xiaoyu desperately found that even if she produced the best recorded song, she couldn't compete with hers. Play live. Xiaoyu was very unwilling and cursed Xiaoling in her heart. Why would she be the last challenger? This is really haunted. However, no matter what, she will not give up just like this. She was thinking about the idea silently in her heart, with a clear smile on her face. Can I ask who arranged this song? It sounds really nice, not like Wei Shaiyin's style. Xiaoling frowned secretly, knowing that she was starting to find trouble, but she didn't shy away from it and told the truth. It's Feng Kun. There was a low voice from the crowd under the stage. It turned out to be Feng Kun, the Emperor's producer. Yes Ling, you are really capable. You have already left the Emperor, and you can still sing the songs the Emperor made for you, Xiaoyu said, seemingly as a compliment, but every word was vicious. The audience in the audience thought, yes, she just betrayed the Emperor and defected to Tianyi, but now she is using the Emperor's songs to challenge the Emperor's singers. Isn't this too unkind? For a moment, the crowd became commotion and divided into two groups. One group supported Xiaoling, and the other group said she was immoral. This is not the Emperor's song. Unexpectedly, Xiaoling said, actually, it's a coincidence that earlier today, I met Feng Kun at the music festival. Although I have left the Emperor, I still have a good relationship with Feng Kun. We were still friends, and we chatted for a few words when we met. He talked about a song I had recently composed, and he was inspired to arrange it for me. Having said this, Xiaoling smiled slightly and said, I thought it sounded pretty good. I couldn't wait to see it with everyone, so I put it in the arena competition. However, after all, Akin used a mobile phone to make it up temporarily, and some places were not perfect. It's the most perfect, so please bear with me. The crowd was agitated again. It turned out that such a beautiful song was actually composed by the great producer Feng Kunfen on his mobile phone. He is indeed the top music producer. He can mix a song casually and it can sound so good a fan sighed with his face in his hands and his starry eyes. Isn't it? Besides, it doesn't matter if Feng Kun composes a song for a friend. Yes, this is a private act. It is not considered an emperor's song. There is nothing immoral about Ye Ling. The crowd was talking a lot, and in the blink of an eye, their contempt for Xia Ling turned into their admiration for Feng Kun. Ye Ling is so amazing. Someone said, she can sing a new song so well. I think she is more skillful and comfortable than Xia Yu when she sings old songs, and it sounds much better. Many people around me think so. Xia Ling smiled with satisfaction. It seems that because she added points to this topic, fans are becoming more and more inclined to her. She urged Xia Yu, it's your turn to sing, don't let us down. Xia Yu tried to assassinate Xia Ling several times, but failed. Instead, she gained a lot of popularity for Xia Ling for no reason, which made her feel extremely uncomfortable. But she had no choice but to hold back her breath, pick up the microphone, and prepare to sing her last song. End of this chapter. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 518. Chapter 518 Lip Syncing Exposed. Facing a strong enemy, Xia Yu played his most popular songs. That is the first song of today's arena competition, the blockbuster The Remnant Lotus Listens to the Rain. Her thin lips parted slightly, and her voice was melodious and sweet, that year's lingering lotuses in early summer, the silent sorrow, that year's flying fireflies and flying flowers reflected your picturesque features. Xia Ling listened attentively on the other side of the ring. Her memory in music has always been excellent, and it didn't take much effort to identify that what Xia Yu was singing at this time was absolutely the same as what she sang in the first performance in the morning, as well as the recorded version. Difference. It's absolutely certain that it's lip syncing. There was a hint of disdain in Xia Ling's expression. Lip syncing was the behavior she despised the most. She felt that such a person was not worthy of being a singer at all, and did not even have the most basic sincerity. She began to look forward to the moment when her lip syncing was revealed. Xia Yu was unaware and used all her skills to perform on the stage. Although she didn't need to sing the song live, it took a lot of effort to match her expression, movements, and dance postures with the song. Her smile was softer than before, and her movements were weaker. However, the audience off the stage was vaguely impatient. It's so boring, said one audience member. The other person also yawned, that's right, I've been listening to Xia Yu singing all day long. She sings very well. Good. It's just so good that it's boring. There are no mistakes or anything unexpected. It's all stable. It's better to be like Ye Ling just now, and surprise people as soon as she appears. That's right. Besides, she can't sing as well as Ye Ling, someone in the audience said. When I listened to Ye Ling sing, I forgot that I was listening to singing. I was completely shocked, as if, I'm there. Yes, I'm there. But, you see, we still have time to chat while listening to Xia Yu singing. Many people around him nodded, that's right, that's right. If Xia Yu knew what they were talking about, she would definitely want to cry. Although she performed better this time than in the first one in the morning, the audience had listened to her singing for a whole day and had just been shocked by Xia Ling's singing and had not yet recovered. At this time, their evaluation of her was not as high as the first one. The commotion spread among the crowd. People were eating snacks, drinking water, and many people took the opportunity to go to the toilet. As soon as she finished singing, she would come back just in time to announce the results of the arena competition. Xiaoyu looked at the commotion in the audience and felt a little panicked. At the edge of the crowd, Li Lei looked at the fire and took out his cell phone to dial a number, start taking action. Feng Kun wandered back to Li Lei at some point and said, "It's convenient for Xiaoling to have you. It will save you a lot of effort to expose the lip syncing." Li Lei put away his seriousness when giving orders and smiled at Feng Kun, "Say good things about me in front of her, brother Feng, and I will treat you to a wedding banquet in the future." Feng Kun burst out laughing. "The man in front of me knows how to unite all the forces around him, and he has put a lot of effort into pampering his girlfriend." This morning, when Feng Kun was busy mixing Butterflies Can't Fly Across the Sea, Li Lei, who was not willing to be outdone, was also busy and arranged for the manpower to give such and such instructions. On the stage, Xiaoyu sang songs mesmerizingly. The melodious melody coupled with her light and delicate posture is exquisite and beautiful. A female fan touched a large bouquet of hyacinths and went on stage to give her flowers. Xiaoyu took it with great grace, smiled and nodded to the female fan to thank her. Unexpectedly, the female fan seemed to be too nervous, and suddenly stepped on Xiaoyu's beautiful tulle-trailing skirt that was swaying like misty rain in the south of the Yangtze River. One of the high-heeled shoes stood unsteadily, and his body bumped into Xiaoyu, causing both of them to fall on the stage. The audience under the stage exclaimed, startled by this sudden change. After being startled for a moment, an even greater surprise came. Not only the accompaniment melody of Remnant Lotus Listening to the Rain was echoing, but even the singing did not stop. "You ask me where is the end of the world, riding a horse and holding a sword, isn't it true that there are still lotuses and silk rain at the end of the world like a painting?" The sad and tender singing voice echoed faintly in the air. It was such a beautiful music. It makes people feel extremely ironic. Lip sync. Lip sync. Xiaoyu lip syncs. The crowd roared and booed a lot. They were all shocked. It turned out that Xiaoyu, who they had admired all day long, was not relying on their true abilities in the ring. Fraud. This is a blatant deception of the fans' feelings. Everyone was angry, cursing, and the more emotional ones threw the mineral water bottles in their hands onto the stage. Xiaoyu was very embarrassed and wanted to get up in a panic. She said viciously to the fan who made her look embarrassed, "Get up quickly. Don't press on me." Although the fan was small, he was very strong. He seemed to be struggling in a hurry, but he couldn't get up. He dragged Xiaoyu's dress and apologized to her in a panic, "Hug, sorry, Xia miss you, please don't pinch me, I didn't know you were lip syncing, yes, I'm sorry." She and Xiaoyu rolled into a ball, getting very close to the microphone in Xiaoyu's hand. Her panicked voice came out through the microphone, allowing everyone in the audience to hear clearly. What? Xiaoyu's lip syncing was exposed, and she got angry and pinched people. The crowd was excited again. "Xiaoyu is shameless. Xiaoyu, get off the stage. Roll. Roll. Roll." There was a chorus of shouts, mixed with whistles and boos, making it very lively. Xiaoling watched quietly on the stage, looking at the embarrassed look of this vicious sister. She felt a little happy in her heart and said silently, "Baby, have you seen that the person who harmed you will be punished? This is just the beginning. In the future, my mother will let her know step by step what despair is and how painful it is to the bone." Off the stage, Feng Kun looked at the female fans on the stage who were struggling, finally stood up, and kept apologizing to Xiaoyu. He found it very interesting, laughed out loud, and asked Li Lei, "The acting is quite similar, where did you find the little girl?" Li Lei also laughed, "I grabbed a lot of them in the training camp. I heard that there is such a fun thing, and the little girls are rushing to come. I just picked the one with the highest score in the acting class." After a pause, he continued, "I calculated the points for her, which can be included in the practical score of the acting class." Feng Kun was speechless. This big boss really knew how to utilize resources and was so talented. I couldn't help but sympathize with Xiaoyu even more. If the boss had a sudden idea and arranged a few more similar practical tasks, would she be tortured to death? If you mess with such a person, you will probably have endless troubles in the future. The music and singing on the stage finally stopped. It was probably because the backstage staff noticed something was wrong and hurriedly turned off the sound. However, the lip-syncing incident has been exposed and there is no way to cover it up. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 519. Chapter 519 Madness and Suicide. Xiaoyu didn't pinch the female fan at all. She was framed by her and couldn't tell her the pain. As smart as she is, she has already realized that something is wrong, and she is afraid that the other party is prepared. She lowered her voice and asked the female fan, "Who sent you here?" The female fan had an expression on her face like "I don't understand what you're talking about." She stammered apologies again and again, covered her face and ran away. Xiaoyu was left alone, standing awkwardly on the stage. She just started to say something. Apologize, apologize. Shameless, get off the stage. Get out, get out. Mineral water bottles, half-eaten bread, and all kinds of items flew towards the stage. Xiaoyu couldn't help but take a few steps back, biting the last part of her mouth, and was about to cry. She remembered that a long time ago, she was also thrown on the stage. That time she was also fighting against Ye Xingling. She was exposed for pretending to be sick and framed Ye Xingling, and slapped a newcomer. The crowd was so angry that night that she stormed off the stage. Now, it's Ye Xingling again. Xiaoyu felt that there was a natural incompatibility between herself and this bitch, and she suddenly understood that submissive female fan was probably the work of someone sent by Ye Xingling. She looked at the people on the other side of the ring with gloomy eyes. Xiaoling also looked at her terrifying face and raised the microphone with a smile. It turned out to be lip-syncing. What a surprise! There was no hint of surprise in her tone. It's a pity that so many singers who have competed with you before lost. It's unclear her last words were not purely to ridicule Xiaoyu, but she really felt sorry for the defeated singers. If they hadn't encountered such a huge injustice, it was still unclear who would win and who would lose. When she said this, some fans in the audience became excited. That's right. My Vivian lost so unjustly. Xiaoyu, you are not worthy to challenge her. My Jiao sings so beautifully, how could she lose to a piece of trash like you? There is indeed a conspiracy. You apologize to my Fang Yezian, apologize. My Shasha is 10,000 times better than you. Today, in addition to casual fans, many of those who came to watch the arena competition were die-hard fans of certain singers and came specifically to support their own singers. Before, it was a pity to see one's own singer lose to Xiaoyu. Unexpectedly, Xiaoyu turned out to be lip-syncing, so it was not worth replacing one's own singer. Many people even felt their lungs explode with anger. After all, this was not the first time that Xiaoyu faced public outrage. Ever since she had a mineral water bottle thrown at her and left the stage in embarrassment, she had learned from the experience and thought about what to do in this situation. At this time, I could see 2 lines of tears flowing out of her pitiful eyes, and her voice was choked with sobs. I'm sorry everyone, I didn't mean to lip sync, woo woo woo. As soon as she cried, the denunciation off the stage subsided for a moment, but soon started to roar again. Who are you crying for with such a hypocritical look? That's right, I just act pitiful. We will not be deceived by the appearance of your holy mother's white lotus. Lip syncing. Rubbish. Trash. Xiaoyu was secretly resentful in her heart, but she looked even more pitiful on the surface, crying, actually, this is the only scene where I lip-synced, the previous ones were all real. As soon as these words were spoken, an ominous premonition arose in Xiaoling's heart. No way, Xiaoyu is already so shameless. In this situation, instead of being busy being ashamed and running away, she actually came up with a solution so quickly. Minimize losses. The previous concerts have ended, and there is no verification. Even if there are videos and recordings, not everyone can listen to what's inside like professionals like her, Wei Shaiyan, and Feng Kun. Questionable. Xiaoyu can be ignored even if it depends on it. There were some scoldings off the stage, telling her to stop making excuses and so on. Xiaoyu turned a deaf ear and followed the story she made up while crying. When I first came to participate in the competition, I planned to compete and communicate with other singers, and I was prepared to lose midway. I didn't expect that I could stand from the first game to the last game. Besides, Xiaoling sneered in her heart, who are you kidding? She has obviously made up her mind to stand till the end. Only in this way can she gain popularity as quickly as possible. A smash hit. Xiaoling changed into a comfortable position and listened to her continue. Xiaoyu said, however, I didn't expect that I would be so lucky, and it was all thanks to the blessings of the singers. The audience booed again. Xiaoyu cried loudly and said, I really didn't expect to be able to stand until the end. As everyone knows, I am in poor health. Continuous live singing is a great burden on my body. In addition, I had a cold and was really tired. When Yesin Ling sang, it was her first time on stage. Li Lei in the audience looked gloomy. Xiaoyu, even at this juncture, didn't forget Hey Xiaoling? It sounds like Xiaoling took advantage of her. On the surface, Xiaoling's battle with her seemed to be just waiting for work. In a will battle, the longer the battle takes place on the stage, the more disadvantages will be suffered. But the problem is, Xiaoyu lip-synced from beginning to end. Where did she suffer? On the other hand, Xiaoling's wound on her abdomen had just healed, so she didn't dare to use too much force when speaking. Take the live audio back for sound wave analysis. Li Lei turned around and told the researcher who was watching the show with him, compare it with her records. Send it to me when the results come out. He would find someone to post it to on the internet. Irrefutable technical posts were used to tell the world whether Xiaoyu lip-synced throughout the whole process. The researcher responded respectfully, but silently complained in his heart, Boss, do you dare to work hard to build a high-tech base just to help the girl solve such a trivial matter? Feng Kun on the side also felt that he was so extravagant and wasteful, but he smiled gently. Well, now I am like Xiaoling's eldest brother from her mother's side. She feels relieved to see that her man is so kind to her. When the results of this comparison come out, I'm afraid Xiaoyu will be slapped in the face again. For now, let's just watch her go crazy and seek death. Feng Kun crossed his arms and continued to enjoy Xiaoyu's tearful performance. Xiaoyu cried so hard, because Yesin Ling has just come on stage and is in much better condition than me. I am already very tired. When she was singing, a staff member came over and told me that she had arranged lip-syncing for me backstage. I didn't agree at first, thinking how could a singer do this, woo woo woo. While she was talking, she was crying, and the scene gradually became quiet, listening to her talk. However, the staff persuaded me for a long time, saying that this was also to ensure the excitement of the game and to be responsible to the audience. Anyway, I recorded the record, and it was when I was in good condition. Compared with now dragging out a tired singing tape to give you an imperfect experience, why not use me when I am in good condition, and let everyone hear the best singing? I was really tired today, and after being persuaded by the staff, I agreed without thinking too much. Her tears were crystal clear and fell in strings along her cheeks. End of this chapter. Rebirth of the Entertainment Circle, Return of the Queen. Author, Xia Weining. Chapter 520. Chapter 520. Yesin Ling, you win. Actually, Xiaoyu is quite pitiful. Someone whispered under the stage. That's right, someone else echoed, she has been playing in the ring competition all day long, so she should be exhausted by now. The rules of the competition are a bit unreasonable. She sings like this from beginning to end, allowing the singers who come on stage later to wait for their work. No wonder Xiaoyu's team gave her this advice. Xiaoyu is just a singer. If the staff asks her to do this, she can't easily shirk it. There were more and more echoes, and many people were moved by Xiaoyu's words. Compassion. Xiaoling stood on the stage and felt filled with emotion. It has been more than a year since I competed with this sister on the same stage. Unexpectedly, her acting skills have improved and she has become more and more proficient. She is no longer the little girl who would run away from the stage in embarrassment when someone threw a mineral water bottle. However, no matter what, Xiaoling will not be merciful. She looked at Xiaoyu and her voice was as sweet as broken beads splashing jade. That's how it is in group competitions. The more you get to the end, the more tired you become. As a singer participating in the competition, you should always have this common sense. Why is it that when things come to an end, are you using this kind of common sense to shirk? She said every word clearly, not giving Xiaoyu any room to breathe. The staff asked you to do something that was not in line with professional ethics. You could just refuse. Since you didn't refuse, you agreed. You should take responsibility yourself instead of blaming it on the staff when someone discovers it. Those words made Li Lei almost want to applaud her. Their Xiaoling is still the most powerful and well-founded. Once she stands on the stage, she is like a ruler dominating the world, with overwhelming momentum, attracting countless people to worship her. Li Lei has long been a fan of hers. Feng Kun's classmate Li Xiaolai, whose eyes were shining brightly, couldn't help shaking his head and sighing. Men who have turned on the wife-slave mode are really scary, and their IQs tend to plummet. Even as smart as Li Lei, he didn't realize that not everyone would buy Xiaoling's aggressive talk on the stage. Sure enough, someone in the audience already said, "Did Xiaoling go a little too far?" Xiaoyu already knew she was wrong and she cried so pitifully, why didn't she let her go? Another viewer said, although what she said makes sense, she shouldn't be so rude. On the stage, Xiaoyu cried even more when she heard the discussions. Xiaoling is going to suffer. Feng Kun saw that the situation was not right. Li Lei was awakened by him and became angry. These ignorant people dare to bully my little Ling. He waved to the darkness not far away, and a plainclothes bodyguard walked out of the darkness, respectfully asked for his instructions. Li Lei whispered a few words to the bodyguard. The bodyguard nodded and walked into the crowd. Not long after, bodyguards walked into the crowd from several directions and stood scattered. On the stage, Xiaoling looked at Xiaoyu crying coldly. She also heard the discussion off the stage. Although some praised her for what she said was right, there were also many people who asked her to stop as soon as she was satisfied. How could she just accept it now? If she really accepted it, the crowd would leave with sympathy for Xiaoyu. Then her all-out effort to expose Xiaoyu would be in vain. Furthermore, it's time to give some people a correct outlook on things. Xiaoling raised the microphone and said, "Don't blame me for speaking harshly, and don't blame me for being harsh. If today, you just sing out of tune or perform abnormally, I won't ridicule you, and I will even comfort you. However, lip-syncing alone won't do the trick. Lip-syncing is an act that touches our bottom line as a musician. In order to maintain the general environment of the forum, everyone needs to start from me and never tolerate it. Otherwise, it is blasphemy to music. Who are you to say? Are you a musician yourself?" She looks petite, no more powerful than Xiaoyu. However, her words are so loud that people want to prostrate themselves before they know it. This is the true aura of a queen, the extraordinary influence of a queen. Xiaoling is right, someone in the crowd shouted loudly. Everyone has a responsibility to maintain the music scene, and crack down on lip syncing, starting with me. Feng Kun recognized the person who shouted out just now. It turned out that Lei sent the bodyguards into the crowd to support Xiaoling. But, Li Lei, don't you think this word of support is very low? Feng Kun couldn't bear to look at it directly. This is simply the slogan of the production brigade of the last century, okay. Li Lei couldn't bear to look directly at them. They are all bodyguards, rough guys. The implication is that being able to shout such slogans has already exhausted the best efforts. As if in response, people from all directions in the crowd responded. It is everyone's responsibility to maintain the music scene. Fight lip syncing, start with me. Everyone has a responsibility, start with me. The momentum is getting louder and louder. At first, Li Lei's bodyguards scattered in the crowd responded. However, although these slogans were simple and crude, they were catchy and the effect was quite good. The Chinese people's nature of joining in the fun came into play, and soon, the slogans became more and more popular. More and more people began to echo and shouted slogans together. Xia Yu is about to cry but has no tears. Things have turned out to be like this, and she feels that there is nothing she can do about it. At the other end of the stage, Xiaoling looked at her with a light expression on her face, proud, clean, and unsullied. Don't use excessive fatigue as an excuse. I won't take advantage of you, and I won't take advantage of you. Unfortunately, Ye Xingling, will not let anyone say that I defeated you because of my good condition. If you are not convinced, we will compete again tomorrow. How could Xia Yu dare to compete with her? She was almost losing her face, so she just muttered, Ye Xingling, don't bully others too much. It's strange. When everyone is in the same state, how come I'm bullying you in another competition? Xiaoling smiled. Xia Yu, why don't you accept this challenge? That's fine. If you go out in the future, don't say that you are not in good condition today, don't say that I defeated you because of my good condition. Her voice spread far through the microphone. It was quiet and light, but seemed to have an arrogant temperament, like a goddess coming. Everyone was holding their breath and waiting quietly for Xia Yu's reply. Should we fight again, or should we just admit defeat? Xia Yu's heart went back and forth 1,000 times, and she understood deeply that no matter how many times she competed, she would lose. It is better to lose someone once than to lose someone twice. Xia Yu hesitated for a long time and finally gritted his teeth shamelessly. I am willing to admit defeat. Ye Xingling, you win this game. There were boos from the stage again. The audience had always enjoyed the excitement and did not take it too seriously. Seeing her admit defeat like this, they felt somewhat bored. Get out! Get out! I don't know who started it, and started shouting again. You're still losing even if you lip sync, get out. Finally, I finished today's update volume of 555 before 12 o'clock. There will still be 6 updates, 12,000 words, tomorrow. The time is not fixed, it will be based on when I wake up. End of this chapter.